calmness, peace, whatever one wants to call it.
Yeah.
So my question is, in our daily practice, very often, even in meditation, we tend to become very uh, ritualistic. We have fixed times to sit, fixed places to sit. Our cushion is fixed most of the time, so you're sitting in one place and doing the thing. And one of the things that, in spite of saying that Vipassana meditation is not ritualistic, it tends to become a ritual daily. This is the time I'm sitting, and you find that 1 hour has gone by and you've really done nothing but fantasizing about this or that or that, or worrying about this or that. But that 1 hour has passed, and uh, the time has really not been utilized to pursue the practice the way it is meant to be done, or as taught to us. Some days, very often, I think all of us do. I certainly realize that a lot of time one is just happy that one has sat, but there is no sense of having worked in terms of being
Towards, yeah.
intentionally pursuing the contemplation, meditation, whatever one wants to call it. So that hasn't happened. So, Sujata, do you think it is something that one needs to be careful of? Because if it just becomes one more habit pattern that we are creating, whether with Vipassana meditation or
Or with,
or
yeah.
any ritual, with any religion, any god, anything, that the purpose of it, the sense of being in the moment, doing it with the right intention, doing it with a lot of love and respect for the act itself, if nothing else, should be primary. Because if that is lost, then how does one ensure that that is being done? How would you take up a practice, any ritual? What would be your motivating force to stick to the truth of it, if I were to call it that?
These are two different questions in there, if I decipher it. One is the whole Vipassana bit, and the other one is on habits and routines. So I mean, irrespective of what it is, I am somebody who is a creature of habit. For me, routines are very important. It gives me a sense of control, of having accomplished something in a day, whatever that is. But with experience and disappointments, what I've learned is they work better. The outcomes are more predictable if there is no external dependency on it.
Okay.
So, I mean, with the Vipassana thing again, right? Like you rightly said, we don't really get the outcomes that we want every day that we sit. Sometimes it just passes away. You open your eyes and say, okay, all you were doing was thinking about what am I going to do after 3 months. You didn't really do anything. Uh, so I feel habits and rituals are important depending upon how you define them, how flexible you are about not having outcomes because of not following some things. And personally, I feel they work better, at least for me, it has worked better if I'm in control of them.
Okay. So
Uh, sorry?
if I understand correctly what you're saying, and trying to just add a methodology to this, since it is a science related
Yeah,
topic that we're talking about. So
yeah,
you're saying initially a habit or discipline might help initiate a sense of continuity, telling ourselves, body to mind, that this is important to me.
yeah,
Once we have set that discipline, then the quality of the discipline got to be checked. Whether the
yeah,
intent that we've kept for it, whether it is celebrating the Ganesh Chaturthi festival or the daily meditation or daily ritual that one is following, once that is in place, once we have a habit that is formed reasonably well, where we know every day, irrespective of our external obstacles, we'll be able to stick to that discipline. Then is
yeah.
the time to start maintaining the quality and checking and rechecking the quality of the act itself. So, in that sense, then, Nilesh, I would want to ask you, since you said in the last couple of years you you decided to start celebrating this festival at home. Uh, have you consciously kept the intent that this it does not become one more ritualistic thing, but gives you time to contemplate, use this time and space that you're creating at home uh, with God being celebrated and with all the good things and rituals and wonderful food that gets in every home, as far as I'm concerned. So the festivals have their own charm, of course. People meeting us, friends coming over, all those things apart. But do you also use that time to cross question yourself, sit down and take a call on, okay, these are things that I'm doing right, these are things that I need to bring in my life to become more calm and more peaceful? Or is it just empty ritual that takes over and you realize, oh, it just went by like a good holiday? What are your experiences regarding this?
Yeah, so like I said, right? I mean, obviously, the the purpose of restarting it was mainly because you felt something was amiss, right?
Yeah,
Especially during that time period, right?
yeah,
And so, you want to have that sense of familiarity again. So you start doing it, right? You start engaging in all those things that you used to do earlier. Okay, but the byproduct of it is obviously it has happened, and I've noticed this difference where earlier when in Mumbai, it's just because there's a lot of noise and a lot of uh,
crowds.
the whole crowd and everything is there, right? So that is different. I mean, uh, that is more of a community event that is happening, and but now when I'm redoing this or restarting it and doing it on a smaller scale, definitely it has a more deeper uh, you know uh, effect on me. Okay, in the sense that I start definitely at some level, although I'll not sit and think about these things like you said, but it has this deep effect on me that I start thinking on those lines in that period. What's the purpose of doing this? Why am I doing this? How does it benefit me? Right? But I may not explicitly ask these questions to myself, but it comes to the mind. You go through that process, and then you answer it yourself, right? Through that by doing these things, right? So it has a more deeper effect today on me at a spiritual level, and that's how then I connect more with that ritual, right? So that is the difference I've seen. While I'm not, specifically sitting down and thinking about it, but then what's the purpose? How is it impacting? And being true to the purpose of that particular ritual, right? So in this case, Ganesh Chaturthi. What is the purpose of Ganesh Chaturthi? Why are we doing it? Let's be true to the original purpose of it, and to that. So that's the difference.
Okay. There is a bit of an audio issue at your end, but I
Oh,
think
is it okay?
moving, we'll have a look. Yeah, Sujata. Uh,
No, I have a question for Nilesh. Thank you for sharing what you did.
Yeah.
What it tells me is because you're doing it for yourself, you decided to redo something which carried a different meaning in your previous life, being in Bombay, the whole celebration thing, the community spirit.
Yeah.
I mean, like you rightly said, it's a different take altogether, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But now that you restarted a ritual which you are doing it for yourself,
Right.
with no external dependencies. I'm sure your wife, your family would make some nice meals and modaks and
Yes.
stuff like
Yes.
that. But what it tells me is because you initiated it for whatever reasons, you feel the outcome is different, you are more in control of things, and you feel happy doing it. isn't
Yeah.
it? That's what it
That's right.
tells me.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. So this is what I feel when rituals are not enforced. If you do something on your own without much dependency on external factors,
Right.
I think you're more. The outcome is more. There is more outcome, and you feel you're doing it for your own reasons and just not
Right.
because everybody is doing it. It's just that we celebrate Ganesh Chaturthi at that time of the year, but you are doing it for your own sake, and
Right.
that's what makes you feel happy. That's what
Right.
it tells me.
Right. Absolutely. Yes.
I remember a funny story. I will have to go a little back when I used to, in my own neighborhood community celebrations, I used to do the Ganesh Aarti. So post the
Okay.
Ganesh Aarti, there used to be a certain ritual where people sang and thanked or asked for favors from God or whatever that. Since I was always a little against that idea, I enjoyed. To me, God was celebration. It was not allowed in my religion. So Hindu religion to me primarily gave me that sense of enjoyment, singing, dancing, which Sikhism obviously is far more soothing, and my appreciation came much later in life. But initially it was like, yeah, they don't dance, they don't sing, I don't like it. There is no godly feeling, there's no heaven in not dancing or singing. So luckily I used to stay right behind a temple. So I heard all of those and I memorized these artis and I landed up singing at my local dish. So everybody thought that I was like I was in control of the scenario. I understood all these rituals. And so one day this lady called me and she said, "Will you do the aarti at my place?" I said, "Yeah, okay, I'll come." So I just went and I took a friend along and we did the aarti. And then they all waited for that second part of the ritual to happen. Like I said, "Well, let's start." So they said, "You start. We don't know it." I said, "Even I don't know it." They said, "Are you've been singing for 10, 15 years?" I said, "Yeah, but I know only the first two words. Once I sing those two words, everybody starts singing along. So I don't need to sing." So now they were, they thought I was like, it was like black humor. I was laughing at them. I said, "No, I genuinely do not know this." So the next day, the lady's daughter was very small kid. Mom has said you are no longer needed in our home to do the aarti. And I realized, oh, they were stuck with that particular ritual and they didn't know how to do it. So they felt bad. They called me so that I could resolve it. And then they realized this guy is a
Resolve
fraud guy. He doesn't know it. But to
Oh,
me,
fraud.
so to me, it was quite funny because I was questioning myself. Am I really not interested? What is the point? Why have I not learned it over the years? And I realized to me it was fun and games. I used to talk to the idol straight away. I would say, "This is what I feel. This year you got to do this for me. Now that you come here, I have a problem with my studies or relationship issues or something happening at home or whatever." So my prayer was very beggery but very clear on the like, "You come, I love you, but please do this for me. I am stuck." So there was
You
not
were very objective.
very single-minded. And I used to, whether you do it or not, you are God. What can I do to you? So I was clear
That
about this aspect, and I was like, okay.
Right.
But over a period, I also this journey why I want to speak of is because I went from a believer to an agnostic to an atheist to having no point of view. I have no point of view about anything. I now look at the intent of the person who's with me. If you enjoy going to, like she said, she enjoys going to Siddhi Vinayak. My personal belief has nothing to do with it. But you enjoy it, and if I can facilitate you going there and it makes you happy, it doesn't matter to me. I'll just do this for your happiness and we'll go together if that's what makes you happy. And
Right.
in fact, at all, I will try and trigger that you develop the right reasons to do it instead of making it just a ritual or going out of fear or doubt. Because if there is a sense of an entity that you're following or letting go, then you better at least have that fearlessness in you. Why then cross question yourself whether it works or not? That has been my this. But on the other hand, as a personal system, because of our practice, over a period, I realized every individual really has to count. what I loved about the question that Sujata asked you was the fact that you have invested yourself in the festival. The fest God doesn't get anything out of it. You can chant his name for 1008 times. I don't think he becomes richer or poorer or greater or lesser. It doesn't help anyone but you. But once you start doing that, or once you get into that routine of whatever ritual that you pick up, and you invest yourself, your heart or uh, your attention, even when you and I are speaking, and if you are not paying attention, I would feel bad. Or if you are speaking and I don't give attention, you would feel bad. So here, though, is supposed to be the objective of life in Hinduism. We are supposed to find a deeper meaning to our existence, and or whatever you want to call it, or at least a better sense of living. If we are not investing ourselves, then this is one more. In fact, then even the everyday sitting of a Vipassana could be a ritual for many people.
It's just a ritual. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to question about the quality. Once the discipline is set, that's why I wanted to bring that Sujata's point into picture. Once you have the intent right, okay, I want to bring it. So your necessity might be habit driven, fear driven, doubt driven, or maybe some people say my time was not good, so I decided to get God back in my life. There are people in my friend circle, I've heard those things also happen, which is also fine. Where you begin is really not important. But once you have
Yeah.
began that and you started doing it and you start investing yourself, then perhaps there is a science that will start operating. So maybe that uncle who daily was giving, I used to find a lot of peace in his habit. He was not a very big uh, guy on ambition or something. His work was very small, but I rarely ever saw him shout, fight. He was in his corner doing his work, uh, a very normal middle class citizen, but his ritual was fixed. And today also, when